All right, so now number 3, discussion of new board members. And we as a board have always tried to increase our numbers and increase our numbers strategically so that we're adding people who have particularized skills and particularized interests that we think would promote the goals and of the board, of the foundation. And so we've been talking about that.
That wasn't included in our packet, right?
No.
Like the, okay.
Most of you know that I was very honored and privileged to be offered a position on the board of trustees of the hospital, and I accepted that position. Was very generously offered the ability to stay on this board as well, but I think that we have enough continuity with Ron and Daryl serving on the board of trustees and this board as well, that that's not really an issue. I think this board has progressed tremendously in the time that I've been able to be here, and I think the future is extremely bright. So I'm leaving my position on this board as I transition onto the big board. So we will have a vacancy at presidency. For what it's worth, my suggestion and my support go to Kiki in that position, but that's your decision to make. I think that she's got a lot of great ideas, and she's exactly what this board needs as it goes into what I think is going to be a very challenging season. Everybody knows that the biggest project, perhaps in Merritt County history, is on the horizon with the new hospital facility, and a huge part of that, from a local perspective, will be the capital campaign that the foundation will be extremely involved in. And so I think that there's a lot of hard work ahead, but I would not consider leaving this position if I didn't think that this board was positioned to take on that challenge. But that being said, we can always use more people. And I think we've always wanted to diversify the people who are on this board. I think we have a great diversity going forward. One of the things that we've always talked about is trying to get more farm families involved. And we don't really have that now. So,
Well, and at one point, didn't you say Chapman? Weren't we trying to get various areas too within?
yeah, geographic areas as well would be extremely helpful. We have a fairly centralized board right now. There are areas that are underserved. So I've put forward some names of folks that I think might be good. If you guys have people that you think would be great for this board, we have open board positions even now without me, but we will certainly have at least one more than that.
Wasn't our goal originally to have 7? What was our?
Yeah,
We talked about that off and on.
I think we're authorized up to 7 in our bylaws.
So you want to leave?
There might be colder ones on the first.
No, I'm not.
No pressure to you.
I'm not sure.
What's that?
Biggest building project in history, so you're.
I'm like,
You know, we
what's
said
hot
that,
here? I think we need an air
So you know,
conditioner on.
I've seen that from people.
Somebody else feel that?
City Administrator,
Chris
Chris
Anderson.
Anderson, he was the one who first said that, and I repeated that yesterday. But then I got to thinking afterward, the ethanol plant would be bigger.
I don't think in terms of now dollars.
Okay, I don't know.
But
I
even
think that was
though,
supposed to be like $100 million project.
even if it was,
Yeah.
that the ethanol plant is a great jewel in Merritt County's crown, but
Absolutely.
it doesn't affect my life on a day-to-day basis, and the hospital will.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, it's certainly, at least in terms of importance, I think, in the community, going to be.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking about that on the way home after our meeting yesterday. My wife's family, 5 generations of my wife's family have been treated at this hospital, in this building. My wife was born here, her mother was born here. I can't think of anything else that would affect 5 generations of the family. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
All right, so anybody who has suggestions for new members, we'll talk about the names that we put forward already. A couple of people that I've thought about were perhaps Sam Krug or his wife. Sam is Nate's little brother, very heavily involved in the bird popcorn. Lauren is his wife's name. They're a young family, have young children. I think that, you know, his ties not only to the rural community and to the Chapman community, there would be someone to consider. Andrew and Emily McCard, one of them would be, I think, very good. Andrew's a young farmer, part of the McCard family, involved in some building projects around. Emily grew up in Stromsburg, local. They have young children as well. They're very heavily involved in hard-headed free. Anybody else can think of anybody? Any other suggestions? Names we might consider recruiting from?
Anybody in the Palmer area?
That's something I've really struggled with. These folks from Palmer.
We've done that before, and we was having trouble around Clark's too, weren't we?
Missy Helmer, I don't know if she would have interest, but she's in the Palmer area.
Yeah.
She's pretty well.
And they have to be the residents of Marion County, correct?
They don't
At
have
least-
to be, not according to.
Not according to to be on the board of trustees, I believe that's correct. But at the foundation says we're not a governmental entity. I think they can be anywhere.
We
But
had
we could
talked
go
at one
south
time-
of the river.
Yeah, south of the river, we even talked Fullerton area at one time as well, and sometimes still.
I don't know, it just kind of comes up with Brandis's. Yeah, like Evan,
Right.
yeah.
Carly, someone from that family.
Yeah.
I know Carly can't do it.
She what?
I know she can't do it right now.
Overcommitted?
Yeah, well, she just stepped down from the booster club because she's focusing on their farm.
I got you.
So I know that, but I know Evan and Roxanne, and
Sure.
I can,
Yeah. And
You know.
Roxanne is a nurse. Was
I
a
did
nurse.
not know that.
Mm-hmm. So,
Anybody else brainstorming the way Well, something I think to keep talking about, because we do have open spots, we will need, I think, a full roster going forward. Do we want to make an action plan to approach some or all of these folks, or continue putting forth names and make a decision next time?
We just want nominations. Or you want to approach them first?
I think it's always nice to approach someone before they're, especially for this kind of commitment.
well, I
But
know,
again, that-
when I was approached, it was nice to come in and visit with Shauna and Julie and just understand what's happening. What are your
Being
goals?
actually asked
Is that
to
aligned
do-
with what I would, envision? And what do you have in the next 3-5 years? I want to know if it would be something I'd want to be a part of. So those are things, but I think it would be kind of nice just to visit about what our skill sets are. I mean, I think we all bring different things to the table, and maybe that's not something we want to do right now because I know myself. I read this, but I thought maybe you already had an idea, and when you were listing, obviously you did. But for me, I'd kind of like to sit on it and think about it.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know about if any of you have thoughts and you're just thinking through. I think one thing, because we have the capital campaign, somebody that is able and comfortable to go to businesses and go to individuals and make the ask, especially in a community where we were just talking about it for this event. I was in the Banks Thank You for Summer Reading Program and turned around and had to ask for money for the Booster Club, and then asked for money for this event, and then you ask, okay, so who's not overcommitted and who
Right.
doesn't ask and who is a big or is very comfortable asking.
That would be the advantage to strategically place someone in the Palmer community, Fullerton community, because it's a little harder for us to go into that community and the hospital will affect countywide, so it would be kind of nice to really be able to think about that and some names that covered that. whole
Well,
area.
Helmer would probably be a good idea, Palmer.
Who? Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable asking her, and you probably feel comfortable, well, you know her too. And she's fantastic. I think everybody knows her. She's one of the first people I met. She doesn't even live in Central City. Like, wait, where? So,
Sam Krug. I mean, we wanna increase it past 5 or not? Or you wanna wait till, we find out where we're at with Brian?
Well, I think, either way, I think you wanna continue to grow the foundation board, you know.
Is the foundation board gonna continue like this with Brian?
So we will still have the foundation board.
Is it going to
Brian,
change, the name of it going to be changed to match the new facility?
So it will, the foundation, the hospital, the clinics, it will all go together with a nice pretty red bow on top.
Big bow.
Big bow,
Blue and gray.
blue and red.
what do you think if we table this and bring it up, or is this something, do you feel like we need to make that decision right now and start recruiting people, or?
Well, I think there may be a consensus on a couple of people to approach. And then maybe a thought that we need to think about some. So, 2 names, Hilmer and Krug, we have a consensus on approaching those 2.
Well, Evan Brandis would be great too if you could get him.
Yes, he's a very good businessman.
Just throwing this out there too, I mean, we'll know more by the next board meeting in October, and not that things can't go on without me, but I'll be delivering August 2nd, so I will be unavailable for a short period. I mean, not that I can't come and meet with people, I can actually do that, but it would give people time to think, because I hate to approach somebody and then, wait a second, we found somebody, I mean, that's awkward. If someone else does come to mind, or we do find someone from those other people, I think Missy would be great, because we talked about her, since I started.
But if we think of somebody, we have to bring it to the board first.
I mean, we have the option of knowing in our bylaws if we wanted to do that. But I think too, having someone come on, I think they're gonna have a lot of questions about the building project that we're not gonna be able to answer right now.
Well, I think we'll be able to have a general idea. I guess my concern would be, if we wait until October and we come back and we talk about it, then we're gonna have more names that we'll wanna consider. I mean, we ran into this last time when we were trying to build the
Correct.
board. It took us almost a year. So if we have some names now that we feel comfortable with, I don't see why we couldn't go and see if they would be interested. Would you have an interest in serving on the board? You may get a flat out no way. So
And
then,
you're
so then
going to.
you have
You're
4,
going to.
then we're down to 1, then we can bring back to the October meeting, we've talked to these folks. Yes, they're interested, no, they're not. Who else do we have? I would be surprised if we find 4 names today that all 4 would say, heck yeah, I'm interested. Because people are, either overextended or overcommitted or a little gun shy to be on a board, so. You can still think about it and generate some names, but if there's, 2 or 3, I don't think it hurts to chat with people. To see what their interest would be
We
anyway.
wanna
Not that you
approach-
have to make the offer.
We want to approach the 3 names that have been mentioned.
Chat with people before you bring it before the board.
For an official nomination. I think that's
I
right.
mean, I can think of a couple, and then maybe say, well, no way, Jose.
Right,
So
right.
why?
Well,
Yeah.
I've
then
done
you
that
listed
before,
it.
trying to get people on like the American Foundation board in here too.
It takes a
Say,
while.
Forget it, I'm out of here.
But you can go out, because I think
Yep.
a couple across that work in our bank were capable, or we considered, I don't know.
Okay. I think we have three names that everybody kind of thinks would